Supporters and activists begin to gather at a Philippine air base where former President Rodrigo Duterte is being detained. He was arrested under orders of the International Criminal Court, and his family says he's being forced to fly to The Hague tonight. Mr. Duterte's arrest comes years after the ICC began investigating him for the alleged crime for which he may be tried. Masterminding a deadly war on drugs started long before he was president. Mr. Duterte was the longtime mayor of Davao in the southern Philippines, where he was widely known for being hard on crime. His 2016 presidential campaign had at its core a stringent crackdown on drug gangs. It ultimately won him the top job. By the end of 2016, now that is 6 months after he took office, more than 2,000 people had been killed in shootouts. That number more than tripled officially by the end of his term in 2022, although rights activists put the actual number of fatalities much higher. The former president has consistently defended his anti-drug crackdown, claiming the police only killed in self-defense. The International Criminal Court in 2018 opened an investigation against the deaths. But less than a month later, Mr. Duterte submitted an application to pull the Philippines out of the ICC. Manila's exit came into effect a year later. The country claimed it had a judicial system capable of investigating the alleged abuses, leading to the ICC halting its probe in 2021. But the case officially reopened 2 years later, the ICC claiming it did not find Philippine investigations satisfactory. Our current President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. had initially said he would not cooperate with the ICC, but changed his tone late last year, vowing compliance with any arrest warrants if they should come through Interpol. For more insight, we're joined by Jean Encinas-Franco. She's associate professor from the Department of Political Science at the University of the Philippines Diliman, speaking to us live from Quezon City in the Philippines. Thanks for joining us, Professor Franco. Now, a change of tone from President Marcos. In fact, not just last year, since at least late 2023, he has changed his tone on what should happen with the former president, Rodrigo Duterte.
Yeah, indeed. The reason his administration offered was that we are no longer a member of the International Criminal Court, no? But the tone changed, particularly when the investigations against Sarah were made for her alleged use of funds, and also when Sara Duterte made a press statement suggesting that she hired assassins to assassinate the president and his family.
So you're suggesting that Mr. Marcos has reason for cooperating with the ICC now that he may not have had before. And Sara Duterte, as you mentioned, she is the daughter of Rodrigo Duterte. She is the vice president, and she has herself been impeached.
Yes, indeed. That can partly be a reason, but then the other reason is that Marcos Jr. would also be legitimized before the international community if he agrees to, let's say, transport Duterte to The Hague tonight. And the mere fact that he allowed the arrest by the Interpol of Duterte this morning says a lot about the fact that he has a hand, in the future of Duterte moving forward.
And for Vice President Sara Duterte, her being impeached, and not just being impeached, she has lost considerable popular support, even in areas of the Philippines where in the past the Duterte family has drawn considerable support. That is perhaps one of the reasons why we are seeing this move being made against her father, the former president.
Yes, that's also partly the reason, because for many years they were unopposed in Mindanao, for instance. But right now, a political family, a known political family, is already contesting Duterte's mayoralty candidacy in Davao. This was practically unknown or not really. This was something that would never happen years ago.
All right. It's not just domestic forces. We are looking outside the country as well. Mr. Duterte, minutes before he was arrested, this went on a video posted by GMA News. He said, "You would have to kill me first if you're going to ally with white foreigners." So suggestion of outside forces. And we've had this afternoon, interestingly enough, a response from the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The spokesperson there saying, urging the ICC to act according to the law and avoid politicization and double sense. This is specifically pertaining to this arrest and taking to court of President Duterte. So outside forces also being involved in what might seem to be an entirely domestic affair.
Yeah, I think that's the narrative that the Duterte camp is promoting. Just tonight, Vice President Sara Duterte issued a Facebook post indicating or saying that her father was taken away by foreign powers. So I doubt to what extent that, I don't know to what extent that will impact on the minds of Filipinos and their supporters. But on the other hand, the mere fact that a foreign entity, an international entity, has actually taken away or arrested Duterte may also find legitimacy in the eyes of some Filipinos.
So playing on this statement from the Sara Duterte Vice President, a blatant affront to Philippine sovereignty. This is a message that will resonate with Filipinos. Final question.
Yes, it might resonate, but because they're playing the victim card, they're playing the nationalist card. But for those who were victims and survivors of the war on drugs, who are really the heroes tonight, and the lawyers and civil society organizations who helped them, who were not silenced and who were brave enough to really pursue the case against Duterte and all his cohorts, I think they're the ones that should be also highlighted today.
Thanks for joining us this evening, Jean Encinas-Franco. She's a social professor from the Department of Political Science at the University of the Philippines Diliman.